محمد رد هو يا رسول الله محمد لد يا نبي.
Sometimes Muslims tend to think that their religion began 1,400 years ago, but that isn't true. Islam has been around from the very beginning, if it suits us to say the beginning. Because as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created creation, Islam has been. The angels are Muslim, and all of creation which has submitted to Allah were Muslim. And Nabi Adam the first human being, was a Muslim. And Noah was a Muslim. And Abraham was a Muslim. And Moses was a Muslim. And Isa, Jesus, was a Muslim. These were all prophets, and these were all Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had planned a project, the project of humankind, where He was going to allow humanity to achieve its potential. And so He had sent down this divine message, this divine manifesto, that He brought forth to each community based on each time and place with a messenger suitable to that community. Each one of these prophets, thousands of prophets across time, were part of this message. These were all ones who were allowing this message to evolve until it reached its complete stage, when the seal of the prophets had been sent, which was 1,400 years ago with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we see that this has all been one river of truth. All of these prophets were on the same path, all of them working for the same exact divine mission. They all taught the same, the belief in Allah, the angels, the afterlife. The only thing that differed was the jurisprudence, the rules of the time, suitable to each community, suitable to each time frame. When the Prophet came, it had reached its ultimate potential, and he brought forth that complete message. That's why we see in the Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the movement of these prophets, especially Jesus alayhi salam, He says that Jesus says the following. Nabi Isa says, وَإِذْ قَالَ عِيسَى ابْنُ مَرْيَمْ يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلِ إِنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَيْكُمْ. Jesus says to the Bani Israel, I am the messenger of God to you. مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيَّ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ يَأْتِي مِنْ بَعْدِي اسْمُهُ أَحْمَدٍ. He says, I've come to confirm the message that's already come before me in the Torah, and to tell you that there is one coming after me. I am prophesying. Jesus now prophesies of one coming after him. He says his name is Ahmad. And Ahmad, of course, is the name, the root of the name of Prophet Muhammad, the praised one. So he says, فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ قَالُوا هَذَا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. When the Prophet did indeed come, people called him a magician or a wizard, but in truth, he had been prophesied to come. Jesus had told of his coming way before. And so Jesus had told of this prophecy hundreds of years before the Prophet's birth. And that's why when the Prophet had sent his followers to Ethiopia, modern day Ethiopia, and they went to seek refuge with the Abyssinian king, Al-Najashi at the time, who was a Christian, when they came with Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, and they walked in the Sahaba, and he asked them about their messenger, and they told him of what the Quran says, and they read to him the verses from Surah Maryam. Al-Najashi cried, the Christian king cried. He became a Muslim at the time. He became a Muslim because he knew about the prophecy, and he said, this is Jesus that I know, the Jesus that I follow, the Prophet of God. And the Prophet that you talk of, Muhammad, was prophesied by Jesus, my Prophet. And so he began to follow Rasulullah. And so when Rasulullah came, he said he had been fulfilling that prophecy, fulfilling the prophecy of Abraham and the prophecy of Jesus. Like the Quran says, ثُمَّ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَكُمْ. That then the Prophet did come. He was sent from the heavens, and he confirms what has already been revealed to you before. Rasulullah was the seal of the prophets. That's the relationship he had with the previous prophets. He completed their dream and their mission. And so the Prophet says, my relationship to the previous prophets is like the one of a man who was building a house, but he left a little gap in the corner of the house. There's a little gap, a little brick. This brick was the foundation. This brick, it hasn't been filled yet. This house was incomplete. The Prophet calls it al-labina, that people would ask, when is this gap going to be fulfilled? When is this gap going to be filled out so that this house can be complete? So the Prophet says, Ana al-labina, I am the one who will fill that gap. Wa ana khatim al-nabiyyin, and I am the seal of all the prophets. And so the Prophet Muhammad completed this river of truth.